Hello and welcome to the Golden Warrior podcast with the Golden Warrior himself, Paul Davis. I'll be joining Paul every week with a new guest from the horticultural world as we talk the science, the theory and the practical ways to approach your garden. Known for his fun and can-do manner, Paul is one of the UK's most fun celebrity gardeners, showing you the behind the scenes of his day-to-day business, punctuated by his funny stories and anecdotes with an insight never before seen. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Alison.
How are you doing?
Very good. The sun's out. I'm very happy today.
Oh, it's a bit hit or miss right now, though.
Yeah, well, we're getting there, summer.
Hopefully. So you promised last week that this week we'd be talking about tropical plants.
I did, and I thought we'd go down the palm tree route this week.
Very interesting. Sounds like I need to be going on holiday somewhere.
Mm.
So, first of all, I know you're not a fan of the Latin names, and I do understand there's always a place for the Latin names.
Yes, well, we'll get that out of the way because the palm family is called the Aracaceae family.
Okay. And I know you said before it's quite interesting with the Latin names because it literally gives you like a global reference.
Yeah, so anywhere around the world, that I could go to China, or I could go to America, or I could go to Russia, and if I say Aracaceae, I know I'm talking about palms.
Right, okay. Brilliant. Okay, so with that out of the way, what exactly is a palm? How would you define a palm tree?
So, as a family name, it is a perennial flowering plant, which basically means that it has a flower that comes up every year.
Okay. So is it a palm tree?
No, there's difference. There's a palm, which can be like a climber, which you wouldn't think a palm would be, or it could be a shrub. The ones we're sort of aware of are like the tree-like stemless ones, and then you have a big top on them, like we do when we go on holiday.
Okay, like the ones that look like a big pineapple.
They do look like a big pineapple,
okay. So how many years have they been around?
So we can trace them back, like officially 5,000 years, but they've been around for millions of years, really. The Triceratops used to eat palm trees. That was his staple diet.
That's mad, really.
That's
is that
crazy.
true?
That is a proper tree.
Okay, that's mad. So, do we have any native palms in the UK?
Well, not really, but there is one in Europe. And we have the European fan palm that goes down to south of France and comes up towards us in that region of the world. So there are palm trees all over the world. So, and they all have slightly different aspects to them.
So I remember you was on the one of your YouTube videos on the beach, and you was beside a dead palm tree.
Yeah.
So
Trachycarpus, that was.
Is that it? Are they the ones we get in the UK then?
Yeah, so that's the ones most people can buy in their garden centres. They're very hardy, down to about -20, -10.
Okay, so that's what we can get in the UK. If we're going on holiday or a vacation, I mean, are there different palms from Mediterranean to
So the
South
ones
America?
we see a lot, you don't even know what they are because you don't know anything about palm trees. But the ones we see on holiday are the date palms. So when you're in your apartments in Greece or Cyprus or Egypt, and you look out and you've got them beautiful big throngs coming out. They've got these, they look like berries on them, but that's actually the date itself is inside that. Yeah, when it dries out, that's what you eat when you eat your dates.
Oh well, I never knew that. Okay. So some of them, I mean, I know at least I spent a lot of time in LA.
They've got loads of palms.
There's some huge, massive, tall palms there. But how big can they get?
So the biggest one recorded, it was 197 feet.
Oh my God.
And that's coming from the rainforest of Colombia and Peru, where they got lots of like depth and they have to come out of the forest, they have to stretch themselves. So those palms are different to the palms that you see in LA.
Okay, so what was the tallest one recorded?
197 feet.
So in terms of like comparing that to, say, an apartment block, how tall would you say that is roughly? 3 floors, 2 floors, 1 floor? What
Higher.
No, really?
Higher. 197 feet is high. So your normal house is about 25 foot. So,
oh my God,
so if you put like about
eight
maybe
times
8 times houses,
Are you
that's how big it
serious?
is. Yeah, and they protect all the endangered species.
Oh my God, that's mad.
There's a yellow-eared parrot. that is like really like on like its last legs, and that's in that rainforest.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you said about dates growing on palms. What other things can grow on palms if there's so many different like variants?
Yeah, well, different palms have different fruits.
Okay.
And if we go to someone like the Colombian National Forest, there's one called Quindo wax palm.
Okay.
And it's the tallest species, one we just spoke about. It's very important for habitat because then people can eat the fruit. They use the palms to keep the shade off them. They build houses with them. So palms have been around since the generations of earliest settlements.
Okay, so there's actually food you can derive.
Yeah.
What about drinks? Is there any drinks that we can derive from palm trees?
Yeah, there's quite a lot. They make their own wine.
Really?
Yes, they certainly do make their own
Palm wine.
and this is in Africa and Asia. There's one called they call it palm wine, but it's called Colunion, and they make that from different palms.
Okay.
They can be made from several types of palms,
Right.
including date palms, coconut palms,
right,
or the Chilean wine palm. I love that.
That
sounds good, doesn't it?
really
Chilean wine
exotic.
palms.
Yeah.
That sounds exotic, doesn't it?
So there's a lot of different species under that one big umbrella.
Yeah, there is.
So where are and how many palms would you say around the world?
Well, how many would you think there would be?
I just don't know. Like, even if you just say, like, we're talking coconuts, we're talking wine, we're talking dates, we're talking 197 feet, we're talking something on some old beach.
Let me tell you.
There's
the
a
answer.
lot.
2,500
Are you
species.
serious, really?
2,500 species.
Wow, that's incredible.
And they're found from the arid deserts right across the tropical rainforests around the world. And the needle palm is one that's so hardy you can find it in Alaska with the polar bear.
So hang on. So when you saw on your YouTube channel the dead palm tree on the beach in the south of England,
because it was the wrong palm in the wrong place.
Right. Okay. But now you've just said Alaska, so I imagine like it's lush, tropical. I know when I'm in Singapore,
they have different needles.
You just mentioned Alaska.
Yeah, because they have different needles on them. So some have very fine needles and some have very fat needles.
But so they can survive in like sub-zero temperatures?
Yes, they can.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yes.
That's fascinating. So there's a whole lot more here than we considered when thinking about palm trees.
Yeah, of course there is.
Interestingly, I'd heard you mention also have another very exotic name.
Oh, I know what you're going to
say.
I know what you're going to say. Ask the question.
I love it. It reminds me like there's like a face cream that sounds like this.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, all right. Because it's like from the sea, like.
Yeah.
So what is the largest seed?
The largest seed in the world is from the Coco de Mer palm.
I love that.
I love saying it. Coco.
Because the de Mer is of the sea, right?
Precisely.
So how does it relate to the sea?
So basically, it drops its fruit or its nut, which is actually weighs 60 pounds in weight.
Okay.
And is 20 inches round, bigger than a football.
Okay, what does it look
And it drops in the sea, and it looks a bit like someone's bottom.
Does it?
Yeah, if you ever go and Google one, Google Coco de Mer nut.
Coco de Mer seed.
Seed, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So Coco de Mer seed, and you'll
it's
see
like
it.
Two cheeky bum cheeks.
And they're quite rare because they go for a couple of £1,000 if you have to get one.
Really? And what's inside? Like, is it nuts inside that? Or like, what's inside?
It's just like a big mass of seed.
So it drops into the sea, and what?
Washes up on an island somewhere, sort of. Then
and that's how they keep going. They're like, that's how they sort of pollinate.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Brilliant. How interesting is that? Yeah, really fascinating. I love that. Okay, so an interesting fact as well that you'd said to me earlier is about how old is the oldest palm tree, sort of officially on record. Of course, we can't go back to Triceratops. There weren't records then, but in terms of how old is the oldest one?
Well, the oldest one that we know of, that we can sort of trace pretty much down to the year, is 80,000 years old.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the oldest organisms in the world, more than anything else we know about.
So they're real good survivors, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you see them, they don't look like they're very soft, they look like they can take a bit of wind.
In terms of, like, when you say about tropical, and I know we've gone specifically to palm trees, like we're supposedly coming into the summer months, what would you suggest if somebody wants to kind of get involved, bring a bit of palms into their garden? What's a good, like...
Well, you haven't got to be a palm. It can be like more of a tropical looking plant.
Okay.
So there's ones come from New Zealand called New Zealand flax, which is a form. It's big spiky plants. Remember the ones I showed you with the big spikes coming out?
Right.
That can be used in loads of different gardens.
Okay.
We've got Cordyline australis, lovely name. So that is one that gets very tall. It's called a Torquay palm. If you go down to Torquay, you'll see them.
A Torquay palm, okay.
That's what they call it, yeah.
Nice.
But you don't have to have palms. You can have things that sort of a bit more like tropical, like canna lilies this time of year.
Nice.
Go into your garden centres, they're lovely reds and orange and cannas. And they're very tall, big
It's canna lily, like Canna.
Yes,
Lily. Okay, okay.
Yes. So cannas they're called.
Nice.
But
Okay.
there's lots more that I could go into, but that's the sort of stuff that you want to be looking for if you're going.
It just gives you a feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean every garden centre sells palm trees now.
Okay. So on the feel good factor, nice little segue. We are approaching the next week, Mental Health Awareness Week 2021.
It is.
From the 10th of May, which is Monday, to the 16th of May. And the theme for this year is nature and nature and our mental health. And I know you talk a lot about this, and I know it's very close to your heart. And you're a big advocate for not only the benefits of gardening and nature, but also an advocate for mental health and suicide awareness and prevention. And I thought this might just be a great opportunity to talk about never too much.
Yeah.
You've got something planned for the 2nd of July.
Yeah, so we're having a golf day at Derive Park Country Club, which is in Hertfordshire near Barnet, and we're going to raise some money for mental health and suicide awareness.
Okay.
So we was going to have a ball, but obviously COVID's cancelled that now. So we're going to get together with some people and raise some money for another charity. What's that charity?
Sound Minds, I think you said it was.
Sound Minds,
Sound Minds sounds really cool, actually. It's quite a small charity that works with music and film and TV. Media, the arts.
Yeah.
Really
so
nice.
That's what we're going to be raising a few £1,000 for.
Yeah. So mental health, suicide, prevention and awareness, I suppose they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, I mean the RHS are big on it at the moment. They've sort of like, we actually managed to talk to Professor Alex Griffiths, who's done loads of papers on it, and it's a proven fact, as we said, I think in last week's podcast, that being in the garden improves your mental health by 40%.
Yeah, it's such a huge issue as well right now, isn't it, in terms of... Okay, so we can find Sound Minds at soundminds.co.uk. We can find out about your charity golf day on the 2nd of July at nevertoomuch. Is it .net or is it .org?
.net.
Let me just have a quick look. It's nevertoomuch.net. Yes, so we can find out about that there.
Yeah.
And find more of you and your antics on your YouTube channel at The Garden Warrior.
Yeah.
So for now, Paul, I'm going to say a massive thank you. I know you're dying to get back outside in the sunshine again. So I'll sign off and let's catch up again next week and see what you have in store.
Yeah, have a good week.
You too, thank you.